Good morning, everybody. It is an early video day for me as I couldn't really sleep. Just a lot's been on my mind, and I think more specifically, it was my grandmother's year anniversary today. That was on my mind. I was in Florida last year when she passed away, and I remember waking up early because it was about 5 o'clock when my mom FaceTimed me to tell me that grandma had, moved on to transition. And I remember thinking, I want to go to the beach. I wanted to get to the beach because I knew that was one of her favorite places. And in the process, I'm just thinking about all the time I've spent with her, and the fact that her last days weren't very easy for her, to say the least. I want to say the last decade of her life was really difficult. My grandmother was bedridden at about 8 years in a nursing home, not because we wanted her to be in a nursing home, but because that was the only option. She was very fragile, and she would always say, she would throw herself off the bed if she didn't get the attention or what she needed. So my grandmother was a little firecracker. Love her dearly. And so as I'm driving to the beach, just thinking about, how sad the last years of her life were, and that I was kind of at peace. I had some kind of closure because I knew she wasn't suffering anymore. And I know a lot of us at times feel guilty when we think that way, that we feel, man, I really wish that so-and-so would just let go, or so-and-so didn't have to suffer so much. And, it got me thinking about things on the regular, like, is it possible that things that we've endured in our lifetime, things that we did not heal from, are we suffering them here? And is it delaying our deaths? I don't know. Just anyway, so I remember thinking about the fact that on the morning of, I drove to the beach. I was in Delray Beach, Florida. That's on the East Coast, nearest to Boca Raton and the West Palm Beach side of Florida. And so I drove to this beautiful beach, one of my favorite beaches, because it's what's near me, not because it's the best beach there, the most beautiful, but just because that's where my parents have a place, and that's where I stay every time I visit, and I love it there. So I'm on this beach, not expecting much, nice and dark and cool. The morning was nice and cool because in September, just like everywhere else, that autumn change, you can feel it and sense it in the air. And so I'm just sitting there waiting for the sun to rise, and the most beautiful thing happened. As the sun is midway through the sky, I see clouds around it, and the clouds almost look like wings. And if I can find a way to add it in this video, I will. Otherwise, excuse me, I may try to put it on another video. I apologize for that. Still tired. I haven't slept, like I said. This is my work hat. They just sent it yesterday to thank us for all our work that we've been doing from home. Job number 1. And, for those of you that know already, I have 2 jobs. I have my business, and I work a 9-to-5 for a utility company. So anyway, they sent us this nice Nike hat with the business logo and everything. And I like wearing hats when I don't feel like doing my hair, or I just enjoy a good hat. And it's very comfy and soft, so I said, why not? I'm throwing a hat on today. This is just for this morning. And anyway, so the most beautiful, it almost looked like a huge angel in the sky. So imagine the sun and then the clouds around it, and it was just like huge wings. The most prettiest thing I've ever seen, and I was just like grateful. I was just saying thank you so much. You know, it was almost like a farewell, a beautiful send off, if you will. And the waves were crashing, and the birds, you know, the seagulls, and just all that beauty was just, you know, I was just in awe with what was going on. And you know, it's amazing to me how beautiful some of these send-offs have been in my life that I've experienced. You know, another friend of mine had passed away, I don't know, maybe 7 years now. Young guy, my age. I'm 37 now. I want to say, you know, this is probably 8 years ago or so. I don't think we had been 30 yet, or he was going to be 30 or something like that. And he had passed. And when he passed, you know, because I was so focused on where did he go, you know, because, you know, the church says and people say and all this crap, you know. And so I was like, where did he go? You know, did he go into heaven? Is he in the universe? Like, you know, so I really was just kind of like, God, at the time, I was just like, God, you know, if you could just show me that he's with you, or that he's okay, and that, you know, everything's fine, you know, despite how he passed and everything. It wasn't really his fault, but, you know, unfortunately, he had been cleaning himself up. Amazing young man, but had a lot of surgeries in his body, on his knee. And due to the medication for pain, it led him to need some stronger stuff to cope. I mean, he had undergone over 30 surgeries, so I don't blame him trying to find some way of coping with all the pain and all the surgeries that he had been, you know, going through, dealing with, enduring. And so it led him to something stronger. And then he had sobered out. You know, he had come out of a rehab facility and he was doing very well. But then his grandmother passed away, who raised him and was everything to him. And that hit him so hard that, you know, he had a difficult time coping. And he decided he was going to take something to numb the pain. And it was too strong for him because he had been cleaning his system out. And so he's no longer with us. And so for me, I wonder often, you know, what happens when those type of cases and situations occur. So anyway, I was just asking, I'm like, you know, if you could just show me that he's fine, you know, that you took him from his pain and his suffering, and that he's not, you know, in hell. Like, I just hate that, the idea of hell. And I mean, it is what it is. There's people out there, they're gonna judge me and they're gonna say, oh, well, there is, and it's biblical, and, you know, and all these different things. But there's a lot of books that the Greeks, and a lot of teachings that the Greeks put in there, Hades and all this other stuff, this eternal fire, Dante's fire, just all these different things that I don't think were meant to be in the biblical scriptures. And there's just a lot, like, even the fact that most of the biblical scriptures were from the Sumerian tablets and from Sumerian ancient stories, and even linked to a lot of the Egyptian stories. And like, we had Enlil and Enki, and we had the story of creation just told differently. And these books are way older than the scriptures. So I'm not saying I don't believe in some biblical scriptures and in the biblical text. I'm just saying that you can't shove that down my throat and tell me that it's you know, hasn't been tampered with, that it hasn't been corrupted, it wasn't borrowing from other sources. There's books that are outside, you know, that have more information that were removed in the Council of Nicaea, that have more information in it, the apocryphal books, if you will. Just a lot of information. But I'm saying all this because of the fact that I don't necessarily believe in the hellfire that's specifically spoken of in the scriptures. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't some type of purification process, that there isn't some type of restoration process, but I do believe when Christ was on the cross and he was speaking to the guy from the right and to the left of him, And the guy to the, I guess, the left of him, I wouldn't say the criminal. Was he to the left or was he to the right? See, now I don't even remember. But in the movies, they always put him on the left side. Anyway, so this guy asks him, he's like, can you remember me when you enter into your kingdom? And because he had faith and he had believed in who he was speaking to, he had told him, today you will be with me in paradise. And there's some scriptures that back that up too. It says, absent from the body and present with the Lord. So I do believe that when we leave this physical body, we go back to the Father or to the Creator, to the universe, whatever you guys want to express it as. We return to the source, the light. And so I think all this to say that I think my friend is fine. He returned back to the Father. And so all of this happened. And so the hospital that he had been in, or the direction in which the hospital, the town that I live in was the hospital that they took him to. And he lived in the town right over. So we had gone to visit my aunt's house that day for whatever reason, I don't remember. On our way back, I'm looking up in the sky. Sunny, beautiful day. And I was in disbelief that this all had happened anyhow to begin with, and I'm thinking about his mom and his brother and just his loved ones going through what they were going through, having lost grandma and then now having lost him. And it was just a lot. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is like, there's got to be some kind of peace and comfort out there. And I look up in the sky by chance, the most beautiful, and I tell you, the most beautiful rainbow looking, it was like a cross or an X. It was like X marks the spot type thing. Some people might say it was a cross, but it was the most beautiful. It was a rainbow, and I kid you not, it was sunny, beautiful outside. I have a photo of it because, this is something you can't just tell somebody that happened. It's like you need this evidence, this physical proof of it. And so when I saw it, I said, oh my goodness. And I just said, thank you, because I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Although the scriptures also do say a perverted generation asks for signs. And I wasn't asking for a sign per se because I doubted where he was. I just wanted to know that he was in good hands, despite what the churches sell us. Because I want to say the Catholic belief or the Catholic religion, if it's suicide or if it's death that seems to be a little sketchy or self-induced or self-afflicted, they're in some type of purgatory and people have to pay for them to get out of that. And being that his family was born and raised, he was born and raised Catholic and everything. So I was just like, there's got to be another way. Like, I don't believe he's in no purgatory. I don't believe he's in limbo. I don't believe any of that stuff. And I could be wrong. So forgive me. I don't mean to offend anybody. And I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings about whatever they grew up believing. But, yesterday I was listening to this guru. I'm sure you know him. I can't think of his name right now, but he's very well known, very renowned. And he's the one usually always with the white turban, and he does a lot of seminars. He travels all over the place. And he was talking about the fact that we've been indoctrinated so much from an early age as children. And he was talking about how in India, they're learning yoga, they're learning all these things that by the time they're 16 years old, they know more than a medical doctor about what happens in the body and what goes on spiritually and everything like that, because they're not suppressed by these dogmas, these religious dogmas. And they're free to think certain things and to learn and expand like a child from the day that they're born until the age of 7. That is the most crucial time for them. That is the most critical, because you can make or break their development from that moment. And 7 is so important, like numerologically, scripturally, in so many different cultures, the 7 is an important number. So the first 7 years are just as important. Children are sponges. They are also a product of their environment. So if you're suppressing their imagination and their creativity, or if they are abused physically, sexually, emotionally, everything, all these different things can make or break a child. And it's unfortunate because the world knows it, people understand it, and yet they don't care about their children. Like, they're not protecting the innocence of their children the way I believe they should be. I think there should be a system in place where we allow children not to be in regular school until they're after 7 years old, maybe 8 years old, if anything. I think they should have some kind of creative program where they are educated in language, but that they're more free to explore and to just not be told, sit down, do this, do from 7 to 3 or what have you. Like, we're doing such a disservice to our children. We're not letting them be. We're already with our ideas of what they should be when they come out, or when they're not even formed yet. When my child gets older, they're gonna do sports and they're gonna go to ballet and tap dance and all this stuff. Give your child the opportunity to explore everything. Don't limit their creativity. Don't, tell them what they should or shouldn't do. Anyway, all this to say that we have been lied to. We have been forced into religions, okay? Because if religion was helpful and religion was beneficial, this entire world would be such a different place right now. We would not have such hungry people in the street and homeless people. We wouldn't have senior citizens being abused, children being taken, kidnapped, raped, murdered, trafficked for sex. Okay, we would not be enduring any of this crap, this bullshit, excuse me, if we were religious the way we say, because we say we stand for peace, and we say we stand up for right and what's wrong. And in most, if not all religions, we're supposed to do the right thing. But then this is where the problem lies. We only do the right thing if those people that we do the right thing towards or for are in our little cult or our little circle or group. We don't think outside the box and we say, you know what? My neighbor is my neighbor. No, because Israelites say my neighbor is only the one who is an Israelite. And then other religions and other beliefs, well, if they're not a Christian or they're not a maybe this faith or that faith, like, I don't want to start assuming and judging all the other religions. I can only stick to the things that I've experienced in Christianity and in what I've grown up indoctrinated in. And like, I can't say, oh, Muslim people do this, because I know a lot of great Muslim people that do amazing things for so many people, so I can't stereotype them. But I can talk about what I've experienced. There's so many Christians or people that call themselves Christians, and they're the first ones to throw a stone at you. They're the first one to turn their back on you. They're the first one to gossip and talk about you and destroy your character. Like, they're the first ones to tear you down instead of lifting you up. So instead of, like the scripture says, to be lifting people up and encouraging people, they're tearing you down. And so I have a hard time believing everything that comes out of mainstream Christianity, that comes out of the very preachy and teachy people, that they know everything. If they knew everything and if they were doing the right thing, 2 billion, I think 2 billion Christians or people that believe in Christ, regardless of the hundreds of thousands of denominations, which makes no sense to me. It sounds like confusion. And if you're really a Christian and you look at the scriptures, it says the author of confusion is not the creator. The author of confusion is the enemy of the creator, the one that wants you to go to and fro, confused, not knowing whether you're coming or you're going, and therefore we have all these different religions and we have all these different things going on, and people are so confused, and no one knows their ass from their hand and all that. I don't know if I'm saying that right, whatever. I mess up these sayings all the time, but people don't know whether they're going or coming, and that's the reality of it all. And so throw the stone at me. I don't care anymore, because I've been silent for so long. I've been suppressing all these feelings and all this understanding that I can't do it anymore. I will not pretend that I'm 100% down with everything that is being taught out there. You know, I don't believe, and this is something that people will, they're gonna stone the hell out of me right now. But I don't believe that the Creator said every day this week you're not gonna do a damn thing, and you're just gonna sit there all day and worship me, right? Because He needs rest on that day, and He needs us to rest on that day. Look, granted, I do believe that we all need a day to rest, but Saturday is not the Sabbath. Sunday is not the Sabbath. And so there's just so much. I started out talking about grandma, and now I'm into religion. I'm just so fed up, though, you know, and maybe because life is so short, and maybe because I've lost so many people, that there's no more time to waste on being politically correct, or, you know, saying everything to make everybody feel good. You know, Christ was such a radical person. He was so against the grain that people hated him. And they said, and if you follow the true Christ, they will hate you too. So guess what? You can hate me now. It's all good. I don't care anymore. But the truth is, if we were truly serving the true Christ or the true Creator, this world would look like a completely different place, because 2 billion of us is more than enough. Almost 3 billion. That we should be able to change our environment all around us, because Christ says it. Renew your thoughts. Hold them captive. The thoughts that tell you that you're defeated, the thoughts that tell you you're a piece of crap, you're not worthy, you're no good, the things that you've experienced as a child, throw it out. You know, He says it's not worth it. It's not. It doesn't benefit you. You know, that's not the word I wanted to use, but that's just the easiest thing I could think of right now. You know, it doesn't serve us. We're serving two masters, right? And when He says that, because we're serving our fleshly desires, and at the end of the day, all of these religions and all of these philosophies and everything have to do with raising yourself up from your lower mentality, your lower mankind understanding and processes, where you need to stand up and rise up. You have to renew your thoughts. You have to put out there the right information, the right energy, the right speech. Because when we think of something, we become that. And I can't stress it enough, because I've said it in other videos already. And I'm going to sound like a broken record to someone, and that's all good, whatever. As per usual, I'm doing my day job work, so don't mind me if I look over and I'm on here doing what I'm supposed to do, as I'm also doing a video here out of my business. Wearing a lot of hats, okay? Stay with me, people. So it's just important that we recognize what we're doing on a regular, because again, life is too short to waste it on bullshit. That's just the bottom line. Bullshit. And the fighting of who's right and who's wrong. And well, no, I got the new Bible. My Bible has this and that. No, it's not the Bible anymore, because that word Bible is an evil word. So it's the Torah. And no, Torah means book or the writings. No, it doesn't mean that. So it's the Sefer. And like, come on, people. There's so many books that are outside that they remove that have more information in it. Not to say that the Psalms are not useful, like that there's certain books and messages, but all of them are well, not all, but most of the stories are allegories. Most of these stories have to have you really read between the lines so that you can really understand what's being said to you. And the scriptures also say there's nothing new under the sun. So everything that was, is, and will always be. What is above is also below. And there's so much more to that that I can't dive into right now because it's just too much. And so raise yourself to a higher standard. Stop living in your fleshly. And I say you're fleshly because that's where the devil lies. In your fleshly, lower self, your lower mentality. When you are defeated, that is when the enemy attacks most. The left side of the brain, lower frequencies, all that's connected to lower man. And move on over to the right side of the Father. That's what Christ talks about. The right side of the Father. This is not new age shit, okay? This is not. This is just commonsensical stuff. Science has discovered that on the right side of our brain we do different things and we process information in a different way. The creativity, faith, hope, we're able to manifest stuff depending on what we're thinking, how we're thinking. That's the reason why he says meditate on the word. Meditate on what word? Meditate on the word. And that doesn't mean specifically the scriptures. What is the word? The word is much more than what we have been taught. It's much more than just language. There's just, I can't. It was just deep. It's deep. I will be diving into this in other videos, but I don't even know which channel these videos should be on because it's just regular everyday life stuff, but then I'm adding some spiritual and some of my opinion in it. So I don't know if this should be in a daily video blog here or if it should be separated to my, I hate the word religion, but to my religious channel or spiritual channel. I don't freaking know, but maybe you can suggest in the comments below. Don't throw stones at me, okay? Really pray and ask. Ask because you have not, because you don't ask. So you want the knowledge, you want wisdom, you want understanding, you should ask for it because you will receive it. If you're confused about anything that I've said, just be still. Be still and be patient and understand that what I'm telling you is serious. The religions of the world have got us in another box, have got us fighting one another, have got us destroying one another. And have we been able to do the things that Christ said we were going to do? Nope. I always wondered to myself, I said, Christ said we could walk on water and we could go through the walls. He used to disappear in the middle of the different things. And so maybe that was figurative. Maybe that was an allegory. Maybe that wasn't literal stuff that he was talking about that we were going to be able to do. But guess what? I want to believe that we were able to do much more than we are being taught or told. The mind, we can reshape matter all around us. We can, I'm going to repeat that. We can reshape matter all around us. We can. We can have the things that we want with good, because the heart chakra, the heart, it says in the scripture that the heart is deceitful, desperately wicked. But then it says that David's heart was after the Most High's heart. The Most High, the Creator, loved him so much because his heart was similar or like the Father. And so that's confusing, right? Because it's like, all right, wait, is the heart deceiving? Or is it... So it's talking about two different processes. So it's like when we connect our heart and our thoughts and everything in a way that we want to do something for material gain only, and there's no other purpose behind it where we're trying to do something for someone else or to help a bigger picture of something or so. I mean, not always, not necessarily, but you know, we have to check the motives behind the things that we ask for, you know. So that's where you have to make sure your heart is right, that you're not doing something to destroy someone else. You're not doing something with malice or ill intent to cause harm. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. So we have to be mindful of everything that we do, everything that we ask for, but we cannot limit the Creator. You know, we limit what we can have access to. We say, oh, well, I can't, or I don't have. So again, we're defeating ourselves before we even start it. We're already saying that it's impossible to get to this or to that. And damn, every time I speak out loud, it's like I'm speaking to myself, because all this stuff resonates with me. It's like a reminder and a reflection of things that I need to do. So maybe sometimes I'm going to post a video and some of this information is just going to slap the crap out of me. Like, dang, girl, you should take your own advice. Practice what you preach, baby. So, you know, I love everyone. And I know that sounds so bad. You love everyone. What about the murderers? And what about the rapists? And what about all this other stuff? You know, my answer to that is I don't like any of that evil stuff that anybody has ever done. But if you really think about most of these people that hurt people and do things, you know, to cause harm, same thing, hurt people, are hurt people, or were hurt children. Most children that become murderers are killing animals when they're young. Either they are not wrapped too tight, there could be mental illness. Some people write off mental illness and they say, no, that's spiritual sickness. It might be. I don't know. I don't know all of that stuff specifically. You can't pray some people out of bipolarism. You can't pray or treat somebody out of something else. Like, there's so many churches that they try with whatever it is they're doing, it doesn't work. They can't pray a fat person skinny. You know, you have to take certain things and say, okay, this is what it is at this point. But there are steps towards restoring that person's mental health or restoring somebody's physical health. Like, they're finding out that children that are autistic, a lot of them were given a lot of chemicals or vaccines that were rushed into their immune system that caused a buildup of these foreign toxins, bombarded the system, and now their liver is on overload. And the thing is that all these vaccines, whatever they have in it, mercury, this, that, and the third, this bacteria, this disease or whatever, it stays, and I'm pointing to my liver area, it stays in our liver for our entire life. So what they've found is that if they change the autistic child's diet, if they get them an organic diet and they start cleaning it up, they see some improvement. And then they continue with other protocols of more of a holistic approach of detoxifying the liver. You know, maybe juicing with some celery juice. The medical medium, he's got amazing information out there for free, and I've ordered all his books, and you would think I would finish healing myself. So again, I have to practice what I preach. I know so much stuff here, but it needs to, you know, there needs to be action behind the things that I say. So I'm calling myself out too. So whatever I say to you, I'm also saying to myself. So, damn, man, I just got all over and talked about all kinds of stuff. And, you know, maybe I need to be more more purposeful with my videos moving forward. But sometimes I just get on and I just get on a tangent, and I just need to just say whatever it is that's coming, because sometimes it changes and it goes into something else, and then, at some point, hopefully, I can get back to the origin of the story and the moral of everything and the purpose of me even coming on here. But the people who hurt other people typically have been abused. And so when I was a child, I experienced some things that changed my life. And it made me behave in certain ways that, had that not happened to me as a child, I would not have been this way as a teenager or a young adult. And so when these children are being molested or abused, tortured by their parents, put in a closet, no food, you're not gonna eat, all these different bad things that they do to these children, they start showing signs. They're killing animals, they're disconnected at school, they don't socialize, they're antisocial, or they become bullies and they hurt other children. They start going towards substance abuse. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen to everybody, but there are people that are weaker. And they may be weak for that little bit, or they're weak for life. Or there's serial killers. There are people of violence and evil in their DNA, and that genetic line of people. They just found this movie I was watching, not a movie, this series on Apple TV called Defending Jacob. And it was about this kid who, in the show, his father's a defense attorney. I'm not going to give you all the information, but they accuse him of murdering. And then, so his grandfather was a murderer too, and he's in jail. So they're trying to prove, can it be genetic that someone is doing something because of what's in their gene pool? And yes, and the scriptures and other ancient religions and books talk about this, that the sins of the parent fall upon and they go until certain generations. So if someone has caused harm and whatnot, if there are alcoholics or there's junkies in your book, doesn't mean you're going to automatically become a murderer, automatically become a junkie, or be an alcoholic or abuse. But the chances are higher because that is in your DNA now. There's a chance that is getting passed from one generation to another, and this is why they call for people breaking generational curses, changing, stopping, cutting that thing right then and there, and again, renewing your mind, your thoughts, not living in what they did, but doing something differently. So all of this is why I love even those people, because they know not why they're this way, where they're, like, I'm talking about maybe I'm talking more specifically for those who have been abused and those who it is a family thing where there are murderers. We don't understand DNA. They call 98% of it junk DNA. That's because they don't know what it's there for and what it's about. And most of that is because we are attached to and connected to our ancestors, our people from before. So all that murder and violence and war and what have you is getting passed down. This is the reason why they tell you to group with people of your own kind, of your own thought, thinking process and everything, because you start to weed out genetically first. You start to weed out certain defects, if you will, in that line of people, and you start getting it out of there. So now you're starting to restore and you're starting to change it up. So these people that the world hates, because listen, murder one of my loved ones, I'm gonna think about this in a different way. Absolutely, 100%, hands down. I've had relatives killed by other people, And I always think, damn, what the hell did that person experience as a child? What the hell did they endure? What was that parent that was messing with them mentally, like that finger that's just like, a trigger? Like these kids that bully and then they shoot up a whole school. What was that trigger? And some people are very weak. But think about us, right? Somebody cuts you off on the highway. Do you just stay calm? Do you just whatever? So imagine somebody living in an environment of always being picked on, always being abused. And then they have kids. And then that gets passed to those kids. And then maybe they marry somebody or they have a child with somebody who's just as weak as them. Now you got two weak people, mentally weak. And guess what? Now you're having another child like that. And then that child goes and feels less than. Or maybe they feel worthy and they feel, I can do better things than my parents and than what I had experienced. I'm going to change the cycle. I'm going to break the chain, the generational curses. So now they decide they're cutting that tie and they're leaving. They're moving on. So, but you have those that do evil ass shit. But most of the time, I'm not telling you all of these people, but most of these people do things because they have been hurt. So, again, I'm not condoning, I'm not applauding, but when I say I love you people. I love you guys. And a lot of yous also that are bad because of the dogma, the religious dogma that you've been taught. You've been taught that if you're not this religion or this faith, that person that is not like you is evil. And this is, again, back to what I was saying. Religion has created chaos. Religion has caused confusion. They were slaughtering Christians, and they were not Christians, they were slaughtering the indigenous people of all places because they did not believe in what they were, pushing. And Rome was slaughtering people left and right. Convert or die. So in the Spanish Inquisition, when the Spaniards left there, they were mostly Jewish. They were mostly crypto Jews. They were hiding. And they moved into the islands, to the Caribbean and Central and South America. They left. Excuse me. Oh, so sorry. I apologize for that. I had a lot of water this morning. But they left and then they went into hiding because they said, oh no, we can't express the fact that we're Christian. I mean, we can't talk about being Jewish because we're gonna get killed. And then you got the Holocaust and you have all these different things. And then you have the Native Americans that 100 million, maybe more, were murdered, annihilated. You talk about Satan? That's Satan. That's the devil. And then you talk about people who go up and shooting up churches and they strap bombs onto themselves and they go kill people because all this stuff. A lot of this is brainwashing. A lot of this is mental slavery. So my people, we look at other people and we don't realize what they've been taught. They've been lied to. And some people flip shit when they find out they've been lied to. That religion that they were serving or the God they were following is a God of war. It's a God of death and destruction. And it says, thou shalt not kill. Only if you don't believe what I say. Only if you don't do as I say. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Maybe my flesh is not willing. But I don't believe that. I believe the Creator created with a purpose. And he knew us all, right? Because that's what it says. He knew us before he created us, before he formed us. He knew our faults and our flaws. He knew those were going to murder, those were going to live like this and live like that. You know us already. So don't make me then. Why make me? I don't know. You just gotta make sense of shit, people. It doesn't make sense. And if you keep believing in that lie, man, continue. Oh, if you don't believe this and this and that happened, then you're gonna burn in hell. Well, you know what? Then I'll burn. If that's the truth, then I'll burn. And it is what it is. You know, like, as scary as the idea of that, like, I'm not gonna be living in fear. I'm gonna be sharing what I think to be as truth. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what's the truth. And not made up truth. Not half truths, but the truth. That truth will set you free. Because I'm not afraid anymore. Like, people are with this pandemic and all this crap. You know, yes, there's a pandemic. Hands down, there's a pandemic. People are dying from this pandemic. Absolutely, they are. But guess what? We're all gonna die one day. Does that mean go out there and be stupid and be reckless and drink and drive and kill yourself? No. Does that mean go drug up and kill yourself? No. Does that mean live life recklessly and don't put on a mask or whatever? I don't know. I don't even know about this mask either, to be honest. But be careful. You know, people are dirty anyway. People are coughing up and you know, and touching crap. Like, we were always worried about that stuff before anyway. So this shouldn't be anything new, that you gotta wash your hands, that you gotta protect yourself. And now, well, guess what? If I'm gonna get on an airplane in the next week or so, which I am, I will be putting on a whole ass armor and hiding myself. But that doesn't mean anything, because you know what? I know I'm good. And if I get it, then it was meant for me to get it. You know, don't you understand that our lives have already been written out? You know, our lives already have an end. There's a written place somewhere that says Emily is leaving at this day, at this time, from this. So guess what? Living in fear, being afraid to travel, being afraid to explore, to get, you know, I was living in fear a couple years ago on purpose, because I was getting anxiety. I was getting all this stuff from some medication I was on, from prednisone crap, and I thought I was never gonna come out of it. And then I changed my mind. I said, you know what? I am already healed. I am already well. I am no longer a product of my environment. I am not gonna say, you know, and I just kept talking and speaking life, guys, life. And I was healed. That doesn't mean that I can't get something in the future or that I don't have something now, but I'm not going to worry about it. You know why? Because whatever happens, whatever comes, will come, whether you're living perfectly or not. You know, because how many religious people die? How many people that are in the Christian church died of corona? Young and old. So when it's our time, it's our time. And oh my goodness, I've been talking to you guys for 48 minutes. Oh crap. But I hope that this was helpful for someone, even if it's just one person out there. Look, I don't post these for 1 million likes or even 1,000 likes or even 100 likes. If I get one person that this changes, helps, encourages, I love you. And I know you can do better in your life. You are going to do amazing things. You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are smart. You are kind. You can do anything you want in this life. You have to make up your mind about what you want, and you have to ask for it in your meditation, in your thoughts. Think about it. Do right by others. Be kind to one another. Even if they hate you, be the bigger person. Be kind until it hurts. Okay? Be kind. And if you have to sometimes be cutthroat and cut people out of your life, then so be it. You cut people. You cut the tumors off. You cut the cancer off. Okay? If you have to, you have to. But live life more abundantly. Live life with more love, with more joy, with more hope for tomorrow, for a better tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. Yes, we know that. But if you wake up tomorrow, I hope you have a better day. But today, right now, counts. You may not make it home tonight. You may not. If you listen to this early, if you listen to this later, you may not live past the sound of my voice. You know, after listening to this, you may step outside and go somewhere and do something, and you may not come back home. And this isn't to make you sad or scared or worried. I may not make it. You may not see another video of me or with me in it ever again. But that doesn't mean you live in fear, okay? Because life it's for the living, not for the dead. So the dead get buried and we keep it moving. But life is for the living. Live. Be set free from all that affliction. Be set free from all the past traumas of all the people who said you couldn't do certain things. People who put you down, who said you're worthless. You're not worthless. The majority of the time, people hurt because they're hurt. People criticize because they don't want to look at the reality of their own lives. When people look in the mirror and they see themselves, they're not happy with what they see. So they always have something negative to say about others. They always want to rain on your parade, if you will. Don't allow it, fam. Don't allow it. Know that I love you. The Creator, the true Creator, loves you. And our Messiah, which I still believe our Messiah, because he had a purpose here. He came to show us the way, to tell us, to teach us. And that has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with trusting the fact that someone came into our reality, into our dimension. 2,000 years, 3,004, whatever the real true timeline is, because our calendar is all jacked up. We don't even know what day or what year we're really living in. But that's for another video. But our teacher, one of many, because we've had others come before him and come after him, but the one who made the biggest change in this entire world was Yahushua, Joshua, Jesus the Christ, whatever you want to call him. Again, not about religion. It's about understanding that he showed up to wake us from our slumber, and we're still sleeping. We're still sleeping. We still don't understand that he said, I am with you. The Father is with you. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. If you've seen me and how I treat other people, that is a reflection of my Father, my Creator. So we are to do the same thing and be the same way towards others. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. That has to do with planets, universe, galaxies. Our Father's house is plentiful, and he is ready for us to go and plant different universes and galaxies and to plant. We are the light of this world. We are here to shine brightly. We are here to do what we were told that we could do. And if you don't remember, because you don't remember where you came from, you don't remember why you're here, then in prayer or meditation, be still and try to figure out why you're here. What is your purpose? What are you good at? What are your strengths? How can you make this reality a better place? How can you influence people on another level? Feed those that are hungry. Not just with physical food, spiritual food. And again, this is continuing. It's going on. All right, but just, do something for someone else. Don't wait for someone else to tell you to do something for someone that's in need. Don't wait for an organization or a charity to come up and say, hey, we're going to feed the homeless, or we're going to get coats for the coat driver. That go to your closet, get the coats that you know you don't wear, collect others from other people, and be the change you want to see. Go out there and share some kindness. Let's start putting in hope and goodness into this reality, and rebuke or return to sender all the negative shit that we're seeing out here. That's why I don't watch the news. I don't care what's going on politically. I don't care if they're going to come nuke us tomorrow, because guess what? I'm busy doing my Father's work. I am loving others, encouraging, helping, and doing. And not for me to be like, oh, good for you. No, because that's what my Father expects from all of us, to do for others and to help and to inspire and to speak life, not death. Don't be a slave to two masters. Be set free. Be set free from the mental bondage, the mental slavery that you have been indoctrinated in, that has been imposed upon you. And some of it you impose upon yourself because you don't think outside the box, you don't think logically, you don't think for yourself. Think wise as serpents, be wise as serpents, gentle as doves. Love you guys. Take care. Hope you have a great day.